Okay, well, it's been said everyone has a good story or novel in them, and sometimes we wait until we're older to put pen to paper, but our next guest got a big jump start on getting his book out there early.
Yeah, so impressed.
Wow.
The local novelist won acclaim while in high school. He's now already an accomplished author. His latest is called Reeper Tales. It marries adventure and Western genre. Michael Panush joins us to share more. Michael, I have to ask you, your imagination is unbelievable. Where did you get the idea for the Western? Have you, like, traveled to the West a lot?
In the Yucatan and New Orleans and all these places, or did you just do a lot of research?
I did do a lot of research, but I have been to the Yucatan, and I have been to Death Valley. I don't know how Western that counts, but that trip there certainly did inspire me. Okay,
and I was wondering about your main character, Clark Reeper. Is there any double meaning in his name, Reeper?
Oh, certainly. It's
bounty hunter.
It's with two E's, but yes, I did.
That
pick
was on purpose.
Yes, I did pick that last name for a reason.
So now you began writing this when you were 16. You're 19 now. Wow, that's pretty amazing. What started you?
Well,
what sparked the interest in doing
this particular story? Well, a friend and I were looking over a zombie comic book, and in this book, one of the characters is wearing a cowboy hat, and my friend hummed the famous opening theme to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I thought, yeah, that would be a good mix, a Western with zombies.
Zombies, yeah, because on the back, this is described as the good, the bad, and the weird.
But,
right in here.
But I like the relationships in the novel as well. It's packed with action, you know, and you throw in his sidekick. It's really cute with all the kind of adventures that they go through. There's a nice thread in there. How can I ask you? How did you do this and go to school? And you're in school, Sac City College now, right?
Yes.
And you're still writing?
Oh yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Actively. So how do you find time to get all this done?
Well, the writing has always been a bit of almost a compulsion for me. I sort of have to do it. These story ideas sort of pop into my head, and I have to write them down and flesh them out. In high school, I think my schoolwork did suffer a little bit. I would write the stories before I did homework or chores or anything like that. But now perhaps I can do a good mix. I can both do schoolwork and do the writing.
Now, do the ideas of inspiration, like, do they strike in the middle of the night and you sit up and jot something down on the paper before you forget, or how does it work?
Sometimes. Normally, if it's a good idea that pops into my head, I don't forget it. But I do normally write them down if it comes to me at an odd hour. But a lot of times when I'm looking at a certain historical event or a certain legend, or even watching a movie or reading a book, and I think, how could I tweak this or put this in a different setting to make it more exciting and interesting? And yeah, the stories all come from those kinds of things.
Now, your very proud dad is here. Now, Dad, did you ever have to, like, make him stop writing and go outside and get some fresh air? Good luck.
Good luck.
Well, it resulted in this. Now, is this going to be a series?
Oh, yes. I have written several more stories, probably enough for 2 or 3 books.
Wow.
After this one.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, how did you and the illustrator, Jake Delaney, get together? Throughout the book, there's kind of neat cartoon illustrations, especially the one that's interesting with the dog coming out of the ground and the gun and the dog drooling. How did you guys get together?
Those are cadejos, which are kind of a Mexican hellhound sort of creature.
Okay.
But my illustrator, Jake Delaney, I met him in Cub Scouts, and we were in high school together. I noticed his doodling. And I gave him some of my early stories to read, and he seemed to enjoy them. And I've always tried to get him to illustrate them. And he did a few illustrations for my earlier stories. And for this one, when we had the senior project, I finally had the, excuse we needed to do this full project together.
Because this is how it started, right? As a senior project, this is how the book kind of came to be.
I'd written a few stories before I heard about the senior project, and then I said, that this would be a good way to fill that need, and also to write the book. So.
What do your friends think about this?
Oh, they're very excited by it. A lot of them have read the stories, and they do enjoy them.
Yeah. Are they amazed as we are that you have already completed a novel at such a young age?
Most of them are a little bit impressed, but they're
still going to the mall.
Oh well,
hanging out.
Well, they do know I write. That's kind of the thing that I do. So they're not I guess as surprised that I finally have the book. Yeah. I myself am pretty amazed that it actually worked out, and there's a physical collection of my stories that I can now look at and flip through.
Wow. Awesome. Now, Michael, tell everybody where they can get Reeper Tales and your work.
Well, it's available at Amazon.com. If you go to ClarkReeper.com, it is available there, and I can mail you a copy.
Okay.
If you go to here in Sacramento at the Avid Reader, both in Sacramento and in Davis, and at time-tested books, and at the Comics and Collectibles is
And if you
available.
haven't been to the Avid Reader, that's just a fun trip to go to in itself.
Yeah, it's just right down the block, too.
Oh, definitely.
From the station. And so you've got those other stories. Any plans on publishing them anytime soon? You're going to make people wait. It's going to be kind of like the Harry Potter.
To hang on. Yeah.
People are going to be lining up at midnight to get the next installment.
Well, a lot of them are posted online, in rough drafts at least, so you can get some idea of what's going to happen next. But I guess I don't have any plans to publish another book yet. I'll have to see how this one does. Yeah. And then we can get the 2 or 3 sequels.
Could you ever see it being a movie? Because just the action sequences alone.
And the illustrations.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would work as a movie. It's kind of a series of sort of shorter stories linked together, so I'm not sure how a movie would be able to tell a complete narrative of them all together. It might work as a comic book, probably a little bit better, but I think as a comic book or a movie, these stories would work.
You never know. Okay, if it's made into a movie, you promise to come back and talk with us?
Oh, certainly.
Before you get too big?
To remember the little people?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Michael. Congratulations.
Clark, Reeper Tales. By Michael Panush.
And I confess I had to read it with the light on.
The zombies were getting to her a little bit.
Yeah. Very good read. Thanks so much, Michael. And best of luck to you. Not that you need it. You did great already.